What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Always Compete Seahawks podcast. I am Sam. That is Mike. And today we will be previewing the Seahawks' second game of the regular season, where they will be taking on the Tennessee Titans. And it's the return of the 12s
Yep.
headlining this game. Seahawks will be playing with likely full capacity. They are requiring negative tests and or proof of vaccination. So maybe it won't be full. I don't know.
I'm sure
Depends
it will
on
be
how
full.
it depends on the people's views of,
Yeah.
of
You,
what.
but dude, they'll get the vaccine in the parking lot before the game if they have to. Like, that's just how crazy the Seahawks fans are, and I absolutely love it. So just kind of before we jump into the preview of this game, we want to just start off by talking about some injuries for both teams. Nothing too severe, but a couple key guys are out for the Seahawks. D. Eskridge is out. He has a C word. Not allowed to say the C word, obviously, but he's got a C word. Also, Rashad Penny has problems with his calf. And as Sam said last week, it's not the start of the Seahawks season if Rashad Penny isn't injured.
How do you know that we're not watching a Madden simulation?
Right.
And
Right.
Rashad Penny.
We need to turn up the sliders on his injury. His sliders are at 0 right now.
Yeah, we need to turn in Madden, whenever you make career mode, it just gives you an automatic 99 injury.
Yeah.
Madden had like a weird glitch with Rashad Penny where it's just like
0.
Oh no. Just like
yeah. So Rashad Penny is I think Dwayne has been officially ruled out, but I think Rashad is doubtful, so he's not going to play.
Dwayne has been ruled out.
Yeah, Dwayne has been ruled out, but I'm saying Rashad is doubtful, which means no. Some questionable injuries for the Seahawks. We got Brian Monet, who had a great game last week, and we're really going to need him this week. Hopefully he is able to play. We did bring up Robert Kimdichie from the practice squad, which could mean that he's not going to be able to go. Maybe it's just adding depth to the D line. I don't know. DJ Reed, please God, we need DJ Reed to play. When we're going against Julio Jones and AJ Brown, we're going to need all the help we can get. DJ Reed hopefully will play. This should, in my opinion, open the door for Sidney Jones to get some more snaps. I don't really think he got that many snaps in week 1, so he should definitely begin to increase in snaps. And then Damien Lewis. Damien Lewis, obviously is one of our better interior guys. So I really hope that Damien Lewis is able to play. From the way Pete Carroll sounded, Pete Carroll's always overly optimistic about injuries, but he sounded like DJ Reed and Damien Lewis were going to play. He said they were trending in the right direction. So I'm going to guess DJ and Damien play. Brian Monet, to me, is still 50-50. I think it's a game time decision. So those are kind of the injuries, just to get those out of the way for the Seahawks. For the Titans, Caleb Farley, their best corner, their first-round pick this year out of Virginia Tech, I believe. He's out with the shoulder injury. That's big for the Seahawks. Just like last week with the Colts, who had Xavier Rhodes out. When your number one corner is out, you have to take advantage of that. And I'd say the Seahawks definitely did that. So obviously I never hope for injuries, but if he's injured, you have to take advantage. And then questionable for the Titans, Bud Dupree, he's got a knee injury. He's questionable to play. My guess would be that he does play. And then Jayon Brown is suffering with a hamstring injury right now. My guess is that he also plays. From the reports I read, I'm guessing he's going to play, but obviously we don't know. Those guys are questionable. So those are kind of the injuries for both teams, just to get those out of the way. And then Sam, why don't you take us into right in our next segment?
Offensive keys to the game. Last week,
we hit the nail right in the head.
Yeah, kind of said what we had to say, where attack the secondary, force them to be uncomfortable because their secondary is not good.
We also said, let's get the running game going a little bit.
Yeah,
we did.
Run game. Chris Carson had like 90 yards on like 18 carries.
I think it was 16 for 91.
Yeah. Pete Carroll might have a way to have a running back run for 100 yards without having him run the ball 25 times.
I would love that. That
would be ideal. It would be great. Frankly, last week Russ C-worded. It's the other C word, not the Dwayne Eskridge C word, but Russ C-worded. I'm not going to say anything after last year and how last year started.
Don't say the C word. Don't say that C word. Any of the Seahawks fans, Pete Carroll said it, and he was like,
Carroll
"Oh man,"
said it?
he's like, "Oh man."
Oh,
Here you guys go.
You got a little
He's like-
mad. Last year was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, let Russ C-word. Let Russ C-word. No. Well, yes,
But no,
but no.
right,
Yes, but no. Yes, but don't acknowledge it.
right.
Because whenever
Just-
Russ plays really well and we don't acknowledge it, it always
It's
keeps
like
going.
it's the same thing as like when a pitcher is throwing like a no hitter through 7 innings, and the announcer's like, "Oh, he's throwing a no hitter,"
and then the
a home
MLB
run.
Twitter account like
Yeah.
points everybody's attention to it. Just
and then
like
boom,
8 or
2 home runs in
7.
the next inning. You just don't say
Yeah.
about it. You just don't say nothing about it. You don't talk to the pitcher. You don't say, "Hey man, you're throwing a no hitter right now." No, leave him alone.
Listen, Russ
Leave him
isn't
alone.
C-wording. Russ is Russing right now.
Russ is
Let
Russ.
Russ.
Let
That's
Russ
what I'm
Russ.
That's what I'm gonna start saying.
That's
this year.
yeah. Just let him
Let
be
Russ
him.
Russ.
Mhm.
Yeah, and once again, keys to the game for this week. Please, God, attack that god awful Titan secondary. Just like
Yes.
make their corners' lives miserable.
Yes. We want them to regret their decision to play professional football.
I want to see DK Metcalf line up on the other side of some scrubbed 4th-round rookie who never played a snap, and DK just to dust him off the line, touchdown, and then just point to A. Brown on the sideline.
You know that video of that guy who's like drinking the water bottle and he's like this? That's the Titans
Yeah.
corners when DK Metcalf lines up. They're like,
the coach of the game plan was like, "Don't be scared. They're humans too."
he goes just like,
And then a guy just walks in the room like, "Hey, Caleb's out this week." They're like, they just like
first play of the game, DB's like, sub.
sub. We haven't played yet. Sub,
Yeah.
cramp, sub.
He jogs on the field for the first defensive possession, pulls a hammy. Ah!
Oh no! Oh, guess I'm done for the day. Just
They're like, AJ Brown, good on DK, bro. You're our best shot. You're our best athlete. The high school
you know how to get in his head.
the high school
anybody
football
know that?
method, just like, hey, best athlete, get out there, do something.
Yeah, they just go like full JV.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, all right, we need somebody else to play. You're fast. Get over here.
Yeah.
Like, listen. This we need to let Russ be Russ and let Russ do what he did last week. Russ, like on the down low, he C-worded last week.
He C-worded.
He did C-word, but
Yeah.
I mean, let it happen again. Just don't acknowledge it.
Right. And I think not only do we let
because-
Russ, but we let Waldron.
Yeah,
Waldron had a great.
Let
Waldron did great.
let them be themselves. Like,
I was
let
talking.
Carson.
Mhm.
Honestly, I mean, just realistically, let the offense be the offense.
I think if we're all clicking and we're not getting in each other's heads, the only people that could stop the Seahawks are the Seahawks, because
Yep.
this team is so talented. I loved what Waldron did. He incorporated the run well. The running game was efficient. That helped set up the pass. That helped set up the play action, the boot overs, the play actions, the pre-snap motions. So Waldron did a fantastic job calling the game. My only semi-complaint was at halftime. I'm like, DK doesn't have a target. And then he went for 60 and a touchdown in the second half.
Though, I don't really care if DK doesn't get targets. If
He's on my fantasy team, so I kind of want
Oh.
to be. Yeah.
selfish little jerk.
I'm not selfish. If DK scores, the Seahawks score. That's good for the team.
But listen, the team was scoring without DK.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah.
the offense isn't working. Get it to DK. Like we
Yeah.
put up 21 by halftime.
Yeah.
And Russ had C-worded in the first half.
He threw more touchdowns than incompletions. I think he was like 9 of 11 for, what was it, like 150 yards and 3 tutties.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Once again, offensive keys to the game. You heard it from me. Let Russ C-word.
Let Russ C-word. Also,
Just don't acknowledge it.
my last little tidbit that I'm going to bring up for the offensive keys is I think they're only a defender that scares me is probably Simmons, the D tackle. Just block him, please.
Yeah, I mean, Gabe Jackson manhandled DeForest Buckner last week.
Yeah, he did. He did low-key. Like, that was pretty sick.
I mean, his fantasy. I mean, his PFF grade was like a 40.
We're
You
literally
watch the
playing.
film- you watch the film, and they call a pressure a play where Buckner backs him up like 2 yards in the backfield, and then
Yeah,
he still blocked. Like that's what they call oppression.
If you think about it, the Titans defense is just like a worse version of the Colts defense. Bad DBs.
They have a really good D tackle. Their number one corner's out. And I guess the one thing that might be a little scary to me is Kevin Byard, especially if you want to try to use the deep ball. Kevin Byard is not going to get beat like the Colts.
But they don't have a linebacker. They don't have a linebacker like Darius Leonard though. And Darius Leonard looked lost. Did you see him on Sunday? He was like,
bro. And they were in Darius Leonard after the game. Do you want to know what he said? Last thing about the offense. Darius Leonard said they had covered 2 beaters and we didn't know how to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how good it is to hear that? Do you think Shoddy knows what a cover 2 beater is?
I don't know. I don't even think Shoddy knows what cover 2 is. I mean, the second half of the year,
alone
how to beat it.
Let alone how to beat it and read it, you know?
So, in the offseason, when DK Metcalf said, we couldn't beat cover 2. Again,
cover 2 is like the most basic.
For those of you who don't know what cover 2 is, it's 2 deep safeties, each controlling a deep half. If you can't beat that, that's one of the most basic coverages of football.
Yeah, and then everybody else just kind of like falls in.
If you played Madden,
like a slant beats cover 2.
If you've played Madden for more than like half an hour in your life, you should know how to beat cover 2. Like it's really not hard. The fact that Shoddy couldn't do it just made me so upset. So to hear I
imagine that Pete walked into Shoddy's office and he's like, "Hey, we have to do better versus cover 2," and Shoddy's like, "Cover what?"
Huh? Only coverage I know is throw the ball to DK Metcalf. Yeah, just fuck it, DK. You think his game plan was like, all right, so guys, we got trips left right here. DK Metcalf, we're gonna go on a streak. And Russ, I don't care what defense they're in, just kind of throw it as high and far as you can.
He's like in the huddle. He's like, timeout. I have a pen. Someone can use a screwdriver.
I'll draw.
It's just like, listen. It's like, listen. Look at this, right? This is the O-line. O-line, you stay, you block. All right? Wide receivers that are not named DK Metcalf, you block. Running backs, block. DK Metcalf, go straight.
All right, so we got Russ, this game plan. Got game plan right here. We got Russ right here. You're going to be right here. Nobody else matters. Just line up on the other side.
It's like Shoddy. That's not 11 players. It's like, I don't care.
Just line up on the other side. I don't care. DK Metcalf, what we're gonna do is you're just gonna run straight. And Russ, look at how I'm drawing this football right here. All right, right into his hands, boom, and then you're gonna catch it right here, and you're gonna score touchdowns. All right, I want ready. Russ is like, dude, what the fuck?
It's just like he's like in like the huddle. He's like, Shoddy, we got cover 3. I'm gonna change it. He's like, no, change it. Throw it to DK.
Throw to DK. Yeah. That was his call sheet. How they have like the big like laminated thing. It's just called DK in different fonts and different colors. Just throw to DK.
Hey, blue DK. DK's just like running deep, like quadruple coverage. Just like,
bro, why do you think DK did the track?
It's like an incomplete pass, but Shotty's like improvement. That's what I want to see.
Why do you think DK ran like the track and stuff? He's like, dude, if I'm gonna be running a go route every play, I gotta get way faster. Oh man. All right.
Now let's move on to the defense.
Enough Shoddy slander. All right, defensive keys. So I did a video earlier in the week, which did pretty good. I talked about how to stop Derrick Henry specifically. So if you want a more in-depth analysis of that, go check out that video, obviously. But to just break down that really quick, number 1, stacked box. I want 5, 6, 7 guys in the box. Number 2.
When you have Julio Jones and AJ Brown, it can kind of.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna put Jamal Adams is gonna be super key. I want to put him downhill. He played a lot more deep last game. Put him in the box. Let him wreak havoc. Jordan Brooks, Bobby Wagner, we got to fly sideline to sideline. Make sure that you tackle securely. If Derrick Henry breaks tackles, he's super dangerous. And watch out for a stiff arm, because if he stiff arms you, he could actually stiff arm you into another dimension, and we just will never see you ever again. Like Josh
God
Norman.
Forbid that happens.
What happened to
Jamal Adams? God forbid.
Oh my God! Blitz boy.
Josh Norman disappeared, and then he reappeared onto the San Francisco 49ers practice squad.
Man, anybody heard of Earl Thomas since Derrick Henry farmed him? Yeah.
He got in some weird stuff with his brother.
Okay, pause.
and
didn't he punch a teammate in practice and get cut, and then he's just done after that?
He punched a teammate in practice. his wife pulled a gun on him.
Yeah.
And
his life, after getting stiff-armed by Derrick Henry, his life just went way downhill. Anyway, so don't get stiff-armed by Derrick Henry. But moving on to stuff I haven't talked about yet. Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. The Titans like to run a lot of crossers, and they like to run a lot of play action. So, in my opinion, the Seahawks love cover 3. It's like their staple. They love running cover 3. I would run a little bit more cover 2, maybe throw in some man. But with man, it worries me because our corners aren't that good. I would run cover 2, just not let those crossers get in. I would take Bobby and Jordan, push them back a little bit. I would flow with them. Don't allow no deep shots over the top, obviously. So I might run some cover 2 man is what I'm thinking, because cover 3, again, when they run those crossers and those drags and shit, it's going to be wide open.
I say we try to force them to throw the ball deep for a couple reasons. I'm really confident in what Quandre Diggs can do on the back end, being a ball hawk.
Be a center fielder, yep.
Number 2, we saw what happened with the Titans O-line last week. Try to get Tannehill holding the ball as long as possible.
Yep.
Just try. Number 3.
Because if we can get home like we did against the Colts, definitely have a better offensive line, in my opinion.
Oh,
we can get home.
They have a top offensive line in the NFL.
If we can, our defensive line, in terms of things I didn't expect, the defensive line was the biggest one. If our defensive line could shit on the offensive line that we did last week, man, this is going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game.
Then number 3, let's force Tannehill to throw the ball, just in general.
I would say
whenever you take away what the Titans need, which is Derrick Henry, the Titans are not good.
Tannehill can't carry the team. He can't.
No.
So if we can eliminate Derrick Henry and make him beat us, and also this goes a little bit to the offense, but if the offense is scoring points to do what they're doing and the Titans are down, they're not going to run the ball. You don't run the ball when you're down in the NFL right now. So if we can force them to pass, I think that's just even better. Defensive line has to be good. I expect Darrell Taylor to get more sacks or more snaps. Excuse me, more sacks also.
Please.
That would be freaking awesome. Carlos Dunlap for sure. Kerry Hyder, I feel like he gets in the mix there. Maybe Kimdichie gets some snaps. I don't really know. But
I mean, honestly, I love how we can stop the run.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner and Jordan Brooks.
Yep.
Disgusting.
Yep.
Jamal. Our noses, just having Puna, and if Brian Monet plays, and having Al Woods, and having Jamal Adams, and having very physical corners that are not afraid to come up and make a play. I like what we can really do versus the run.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with everything you said. Like, to restrict Derrick Henry, and we can easily win this football game.
If Derrick Henry runs for less than 100 yards, I feel like we win. Easy.
That's
easy.
Right.
Yeah. Those are my keys.
Yards?
What
if he runs for 99 yards?
Nope. Don't count, bro.
Don't count?
He runs for 101. We're done. We're trash.
100 and a half.
It's like, no. If Chris Carson outruns Derrick Henry on Sunday, just
the memes are coming in, baby.
Just, oh my gosh. Because remember they had that like off-season thing where like they were both doing those crazy ass like weightlifting things like on like the band, and they were like doing push-ups.
Chris Carson got more viral than Derrick Henry did. He did. Bleacher Report was posting him. So
suck it, Derrick Henry. I'm just kidding. Please don't stiff arm the shit out of my team, please. I'm sorry.
Midry, honestly. Personally, that's what I'm feeling about this Titans team. And that's all I have to say. Moving on to our next topic. We had kind of talked about, how important both of what the weaknesses are of the Titans are. But we never really talked about and capitalizing on that. But we never really talked about who could capitalize on that, or more kind of necessarily who needs to capitalize on that. Mm-hmm. That's going to bring us to our players that need to have a good game segment of this episode. We kind of split up into segments. We do these little things. This is pretty much the format for every game preview.
Yep.
So Players that need to have a good game. We're each going to give one on offense and one on defense.
Yep.
Players that need to have a good game for me on offense. It's really that's
I got
this
mine.
is
If you want to wait, a second, I got mine.
I'll go with Freddie Swain.
There you go.
D. Eskridge is out. Freddie Swain, this is your opportunity. Let's be a reliable third or even fourth option like you were last year. Capitalize on the time that you're getting, and let's see some big plays. That's really all I got to say about that on offense. I think that Freddie Swain is going to really need to have a good game. You're going to need to fit that D. Eskridge role of getting reverses, getting quick passes, getting all that. So, Freddie Swain for me on offense is a player that I think needs to capitalize on the opportunity that he's been given and have a really good game.
Yep. For my offensive player, I'm going to go with Gerald Everett. Now, for those of you who just didn't watch the game and just saw the stat sheet, you might say, oh, he only had like 20 yards against the Colts. He scored, but whatever. He really had like 45 because he had like a 25-yard play that got called back because of a penalty. Gerald Everett was covered for a large portion of the game by Darius Leonard, who is one of, if not, the premier linebackers in the NFL. He's fast. The Titans don't have a linebacker like that. So in order to take advantage of those matchups, I think Gerald Everett's going to have to get open. I think he's going to have to be, that security blanket for Russ. And I definitely don't think he played bad last week, but I think, if he wants to really solidify himself as the number one tight end after Will Dissly stiff-armed that dude into a fourth dimension. That was awesome, by the way. You see that? Will Dissly, get out of here. Yeah. But, Gerald Everett's going to have a good game against the Titans, and he's going to have to be, open for Russ and hopefully get some more yards. Score another touchdown. I mean, I would love that if he scored another touchdown, but Gerald Everett is my guy on offense.
Yeah. On defense, I mean, I'm gonna go kind of a basic answer here. I'm gonna say it's Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, that's big.
Derrick Henry. I think Bobby Wagner is pound for pound the best run-stopping linebacker in football.
Yep.
He's so good at securing tackles. We need you to secure tackles versus the toughest player to secure a tackle against in the NFL.
Yep.
So Bobby, make plays. Just be who you are. Make those plays. Make Derrick Henry's life miserable. Let's go and I mean, shut down the run. Game should be easy on from there on out.
Yep. My defensive player that I think needs to have a good game is going to be Carlos Dunlap. Now, Taylor Lewan, there's no other way to put this, got absolutely destroyed by Chandler Jones last week. 5 sacks, forced fumble, pass breakup. He just got embarrassed. He got embarrassed so hard that to the point where he apologized on Twitter. You know how badly you have to get beat to go on Twitter and be like, "Hey guys, LOL, my bad."
To publicly apologize.
Yeah, he said, "Hey man, LOL, my bad." But no, Carlos Dunlap is going to have to do the same thing. He's going to have to just beat Derrick Henry also. But he's going to have to just beat Taylor Lewan if we're going to get, pressure from that left side. Beat Taylor Lewan, get off those blocks, hit Derrick Henry, get in the face of Ryan Tannehill, especially from that left side, the quarterback's blind side being that he's right-handed. Carlos Dunlap's going to have a good game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, totally fair. Just demolish Taylor Lewan.
Buda Baker. Did you see that play where Buda Baker lined up and put his arm out and Taylor Lewan was bro, that was so crazy. Can you imagine Jamal doing that? Woo! By the way, we're repping Jamal today. Jamal's first game at Lumen Field is going to be electric.
Oh, it's going to be fun. The energy, electric.
He's never. Fun fact: he's actually never had fans for any of his NFL games. Any. Because last year they
just didn't care.
Right.
To show up.
Well, there might have been some in the stadium, but all of them were just looking down at their phones, being like, "LOL, ratio, blitz boy, LOL." Like that's just what they do. So
even when he was on their own team,
yeah,
that's they were saying.
They're probably like young boy beta, just in the replies while the game's happening. Yeah. But whatever.
It's he never played with fans before.
Never
played. Went out to.
And Jamal's a guy. He's so high energy, like. He's going to level up when he just hears the roar of the fans. Just going to inject him with adrenaline that's going to make him play better.
I can't wait until he comes out of the tunnel tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely, dude, it's destiny.
They're
He's gonna
announcing.
have.
One of my favorite things is when they announce guys like one by one, because like some players do stuff and some players don't. Like Russ, when they announce his name, he just runs out on the field.
Yeah, he does like that.
He'll maybe do like a something like that or something like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one of the most famous ones was Cam Chancellor. He'd run the field.
Yeah.
And
that was so badass.
And the flames would go up, and then everybody would just be going crazy. We need Jamal Adams to come out on the field, throwing his arms around.
Yeah.
Getting the crowd hype. Because I expect Lumen to be at full capacity. And I expect the goddamn fans to be loud.
Dude, can you imagine like living in the neighborhood where Lumen Field's at and your house is just shaking? You're like, dude, what's going on?
You ever seen that video of that girl who was putting on makeup during the earthquake and it turned into a meme? And she's like, and just like,
but if you're
living next to
by the way, if you're going to the game, let us know. Let us know how crazy it is, because I actually am very curious. Unfortunately, my bus is not going to make it there in time, being that I'm halfway across the country.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be a little crappy weather tomorrow, so my private jet can't take off in time.
As you know,
so
the boat doesn't. There's not a boat that connects Lake Michigan to Seattle.
Unless I want to go through like the Panama Canal.
Yeah,
right down on through, up and over.
Yeah,
and like a huge loop through the Pacific.
Yeah,
we could do that.
We could.
I mean, Mike, me and you. It's 9:37 Eastern.
Yeah.
Meet me if you can somehow get a flight that's like the East Coast somehow, or by New York, right? By midnight, right?
Yep.
Eastern time. Get me out. Get me out. This is important.
Okay.
Meet me. I'll give you a location. We get on a dinghy, and we drift all the way down to the Panama Canal. Up, get off. Seattle's a port city, so it's right there.
Yeah,
we
true.
Get off. We're there. It's gonna be a rough night. It's gonna be a rough night.
We're gonna show up to Lumen. We're like, go Seahawks.
Go Seahawks. No, Seattle's great coffee. So
the crowd's like, what? Yeah. We'll just get Starbucks. We'll be fine. The crowd's like, what? We're like, let's go.
And then we forgot to buy tickets.
Yeah. They're like, oh, do you have your vaccination cards? We're like, oh fuck.
I was like, I told you, bring it.
Anyway,
it's so dumb.
Moving on from
our fifth category of what we want to see.
Yeah,
we kind of went over that. Let's just get straight into the predictions.
Before we get into predictions, I want to say that the Seahawks, for any bettors out there, the Seahawks are currently favored by 6.5 points. 6.5 points. Just saying. Anyway, so Sam, I'm going to ask you for a score prediction, and I'm going to ask you for a player that you think has a big game. Go ahead.
Player that I think has a big game. That's a tough one. I'm going to say Russ.
Wow. Very, very unique response. I'm just kidding. Obviously, yeah. That makes sense.
Kind of like the basic response, like somebody asks, oh, who's your favorite hip hop artist? And they say Kanye West. Like, you can't call them mainstream because Kanye is just like he's a
good artist.
Yeah. So like you can't be like you weirdo, you mainstreamer. What about
Young Boy Better ratio?
L plus ratio. Young Boy Better. Shout out to Lil Nas X for that music video.
That was so funny, bro.
Which is hilarious.
L plus ratio.
Plus ratio.
Plus
Young Boy Better. Make better music. Oh my god, it's so funny.
All right, so you got Russ is your MVP. Russ is gonna see where to pair according to you. So what do you think the score is?
Bold prediction. I say Russ wins MVP this week.
Okay, really quick tangent here. The MVP should have never been awarded to Kyler Murray. Mitchell Trubisky should have won back-to-back. I will die on the hill that Mitchell Trubisky is the one.
Trubisky never.
Mitchell Trubisky is the one and the only MVP. Period.
Well, it's gonna be Russ this week. My bold prediction.
Gonna get slimed. Anyway, so you got Russ as your as your player of the game, the MVP. Very important distinction. The MVP.
Yeah.
What do you think the final?
Not the MVP until about week 5.
What do you think the final score is?
Final score. Do you remember that Seahawks Cowboys game from last year?
Was it like 30? Was it like 33?
Where nobody could get a stop. It was just miserable. It was like score after score. Russ threw 5 touchdowns, Dak like 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like that.
You think so?
I say Seahawks take a W, go 2-0. I say they win 35-28.
All right. So you think the Seahawks win and cover the spread?
I think they cover.
All right.
Again, not betting advice.
Knock on wood. Yeah. Knock on wood. This is not gambling advice.
Not
gambling advice at all. Don't listen to us.
I do not condone.
This is
using
wrong.
Me for gambling advice because I don't.
Don't listen
I've
to me.
Never gambled before, and
but we did tell you to take Seahawks -2.5 last week, but don't listen to us. Don't listen. Anyway, for me, I think my MVP of this week for the Seahawks is going to be Jamal Adams. A couple reasons. Number one, I think they're going to run the ball a good amount, so he's going to have opportunities to get some TFLs. I think Jamal Adams is going to just completely destroy Taylor Lewan like Budda Baker did, and get maybe a sack or 2. And bold prediction here, I think Jamal Adams gets an interception this game. I think Jamal Adams.
3rd career interception?
I think Jamal Adams.
Jets fans can shut the hell up.
You could just hear them typing blitz. Oh, shit. Back. Pick boy. Pick boy.
Kick doesn't get any sacks anymore. Pick boy. Like
paid him $72 million just to be a safety. LOL, what an L. Like, bro, like, come on.
I just filmed this picture on Instagram of NFL bold predictions for week 2. Josh Allen throws 4 for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns as the Bills beat Miami.
Damn. Nah. I'm taking Miami that game, by the way. Anyway,
and then they said that Russ will throw 6 touchdowns versus the Titans and set the Seahawks record. Which, on a little bit of a somber note, right?
Is he wrong? Oh,
on a little bit of a somber note. Russ lost his best friend, Trevor Moad, who was his mental health coach.
Yeah, rest in peace, Trevor.
I think Russ is going to really have one of those games.
Russ he's mourning the loss of his friend right now. Obviously, so praying for Trevor and his family and for Russ, obviously, like from all accounts, Trevor was such an amazing man.
If anything is gonna light a fire under Russ to be great and to have a game like he could have versus this defense, it's gonna be something like this.
Yeah, he's
There's
motivated.
Been plenty of games that show that grief is it's like a serious motivator for guys who.
Brett Favre on Monday Night Football is the best example.
Brett Favre threw like 6 touchdowns versus the Raiders. You have Quan Alexander, who had like a game for the ages. He had like 15 tackles, a pick, and a fumble recovery after he lost his brother.
Who was that against? That did it against the Seahawks. It was Vernon Hargreaves, was it? Who lost somebody and then got like the game-winning interception against us.
I don't.
I think that's right.
McDougald?
No. Well, I'll look that up, but
I don't know.
But basically, obviously, rest in peace to Trevor. But I think to end with my score prediction, I think the game is going to be 33-24 Seattle. It's my score prediction. 33-24. So they would cover. Both of us have the Seahawks winning and covering. Not gambling advice.
Mike is winking.
No, I just got an eyelash in my eye. I got an eyelash. It's crazy.
I'm not winking because the last thing I want is for some guy to come.
The comment's gonna be took Seahawks -6.5, lost my rent for the year. Now I am homeless because
I lost my baby.
Yeah. Bet my baby. Bet my second child Seahawks -6.5. You guys owe me my son back. Like, What?
I have a particular set of skills.
Okay, that's on our topic.
Yeah.
I think that's going to do it. We covered injuries, offensive keys, defensive keys, what we want to see, players who need to have a good game, and our final predictions. This was our week 2 preview ahead of the Seahawks versus Tennessee Titans game. Let us know what you guys think down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.